Here we go. It is Monday, August 17th, 2020. And it's been hot. It's been very hot here in Georgia. Thankfully, I have the mini split running, and that is helping compensate for the heat. So I'm glad you all are here. I see there's already people lining up. There's people been waiting, and that's good. I wanted to point out that tonight's special hat, Maintenance Matters New Jersey, LLC, is brought to you by Jack W. So Jack has the 66 Fastback that I filmed up in New Jersey, and thank you for the hat. I really like it. Very patriotic. I'm all for that. So very cool. And also, I'm doing a throwback tonight. I have a t-shirt on of one of my favorite bands, Metallica, and this is Garage Inc. I can't say that I've ever actually worn this shirt, so you should feel special. I just thought, hey, I need something different to wear tonight, and new hat, pulled out a shirt, and again, this shirt's been in storage, sitting for quite some time, but I don't know, I felt like doing something different tonight. Am I seeing things, or does everything look level? I'm kind of freaking out because I hit my camera earlier today, and it could just be my laptop is making me look unlevel. I get kind of paranoid about that. Level, square, all that stuff drives me crazy. And I've talked about it before. It's very difficult for me because if something is slightly out of line, it could be a picture frame, it could be whatever. It affects my internal balance mechanism apparently. So I've mentioned it before that, like, if I go with my wife, we'll go to Lowe's or Home Depot and look at a display where things are kind of angled back. I don't last long. I get in that aisle, I start looking at stuff, and I'm done. I have to walk away. I can't look at that stuff. It just screws with my head, and I get all mixed up. So anyway, we have Greg's Workshop checking in. Jeff Reynolds checking in from the UK. Is it film night tonight? I don't know. We might have to talk about some films. Ricky Lynn Wolf checking in. I hope everyone is having a blessed day as well. Jerry Tyler from Tennessee. Jerry Umdenstock from Northwest Arkansas. Jerry is commenting. I have a headlight ring matching the fender. I'm concerned about the chipping long term. That is a concern. The only way you can really remedy that, honestly, and it may sound kind of bizarre, is to shim it. If you took some, that the post where the screw goes through comes to the fender. If you can find something to get between those two and shim it out just enough to where it's online, that's your simplest fix. And that way you don't have to worry about the vibrations. It'll keep it pushed away. And I think that's what I would do anyway, is come up with a shim device. We have Rick Stevenson checking in from Northeast Florida. Jerry Tyler. Yes. Yep. Thank you, Jack. Whoops. Weird. All right. Yes, it is a cool hat. I like it a lot. Bob Shoemaker tried to work today, but Monday got in the way. Could not even get the glove box door open on car, so I walked away. Yep. Today was kind of a slack day for me as well. I don't know. I just kind of didn't feel like doing much. So I didn't. I had a friend stop by. He wanted me to look at a mower deck that was all cracked up and broken, and he wanted an opinion on welding it. I said, yeah, it's going to need welded, lots of welds. And so we talked about that for a while, talked about life, just hung out, So it was a good day to just kind of hang out and relax a bit. Let's see. Richard Byrne, hi. Greetings from Hernando, Florida. Glad you're here. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you, Sam, or Samuel, whichever way it is. Harvey, cool shirt. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it's been sitting around for quite a while. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Jack can't take all the credit. Dave C had a hand in that too. Your new shirts on Teespring are awesome. Thank you for that. I wanted to bring that up as well. That is something else I wanted to mention, and I will get to that in just a second. Cooter Lev, let's see. Hello from Oklahoma. Shop AC in a cold adult beverage beats the heat here. Yes, I agree with that. Brandon Reisinger, hello from Tulsa. Jerry, I would just use like a washer. I mean, all you need is a thin, well, I don't know. I can't tell how much space you have between that, but a thin washer. Just put it in behind the screw and, attach it, make it stay. Or you could even glue it to the fender, just, so it stays there while you're putting the screw in. So, okay. We have Crocato Funelaria. And again, I can't translate that, but nice night for the nice night ranch Brazil. I don't know. That's my guess. Brian, glad you're here. Jeff is saying hi. You can hang out in retirement. Yes. Leonard wanting to work on the Torino, but it's over 110 in the garage. Yeah. And we have Pedro from Lisbon, Portugal. Thank you for being here. I'm sure others will be checking in pretty soon. We've got 29 on the counter and going. I think tonight might be a good night for some chat. I have somebody queued up. Ron is waiting, and I'm going to try to take care of a few things before I get Ron on. So I'm glad, Ron, I'm glad you're there. I see you queued up, so we'll get to you in just a minute if that's okay. A couple things that I wanted to mention. One of them was the T-shirts that are now available on Teespring. As you know, I have gotten in contact or made contact and had good conversation with Andrew from Grease Rookie Garage. He does artwork, stuff like that. So he has helped me come up with a design that is now available on Teespring. And I'm going to be putting up a few others. And I don't know if I can even pull that up. But the T-shirt design is an American flag across the chest, a Mustang down in the center, and then Joe Daddy's Garage in my logo script. So I think it looks really cool. And I think on any of my YouTube videos, if you go to, I think on the videos themselves, there is a connection from Teespring to find those. And I also posted a link on Facebook. So if you're interested, there are T-shirts, sweatshirts, I think hooded sweatshirts. I did some other stuff. I think I made another mask with that on it, so it looks pretty cool. And there's going to be more of that coming. And I really want to thank Andrew for that. He has T-shirts and stuff for sale as well. So if you are interested, by all means, check out Andrew's channel, Grease Rookie Garage, and go have a look at his, what he's been doing, and also look at his Teespring stuff. He's got some really cool stuff going on. All right, we have David and Cheryl checking in. Glad you're here. That's for you. Denny Alvey, Derek Pro. Yes, all is well. Thank you. And speaking of Facebook, I wanted to bring this up because there is hold on just a second. Okay, thank you, Ron. I'll be with you in just a second, so please be patient. But I wanted to bring up something about on Facebook. Okay, now we all know that there's companies out there that have agendas and have whatever position in society, and they may have a political view or whatever that is completely different from anybody else's. I'm not complaining about that. I'm not going to make any whatever. But we all know, those of us that are on Facebook, that they tend to censor stuff whenever they feel like it and whenever it's convenient. I need coffee. Now, I've seen videos, I've seen posts that have been, violence against police, threats against government people, protests, all kinds of stuff, right? And I've seen it, it happens all the time. You see that stuff. Well, a friend of mine, and I'm just giving you some background here. A friend of mine, he posted a picture that had nothing political about it, nothing at all. It was a picture of an airplane / boat that was built in Russia. Now, if you know anything about Russians and their ingenuity, they tend to think way outside the box sometimes. I mean, way outside the box. Well, this vehicle, I think they only ever made maybe one or two of them. It is 2/3 airplane and 1/3 boat. And the idea is, and I've actually seen it, it could be the Ekranoplane. That could be it. I think that may be it. It could very well be the Ekranoplane. It is designed to go on water, but to fly above water using air pressure from movement. Like an aircraft would have wings, it generates lift from forward movement. So this thing is designed to go across a massive lake or something, and it's essentially flying, but it can only go about 10 feet in the air. So it has the speed of an airplane, but it's above the water. So if something happens, it can just settle in the water and be done. Okay. If you look it up, you'll be amazed at the, of course, ingenuity that goes into it. So anyway, he posted pictures of this. My response, because it's a legitimate response, I said very simply, crazy Russians. Crazy Russians. So if we've seen anything from Russia, it's very likely that there's some crazy thoughts. Okay. But this design was a crazy idea and it worked. So there's nothing wrong with the comment, in my opinion. But you know what? Facebook banned me for 24 hours because it did not meet their community standards of, what was it, hate speech or something. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Man, I was so angry with that. It's like you'll have stuff with people punching an old woman in the head on the street, let that be shown. But somebody makes a comment about some crazy aircraft. Boom. Nope. You're a bad person. Go to your room. So anyway, produces lift from the edges, forcing air over the wings as well. Yes, very much so. Yes, Matt, I agree with you. All right. I have some other things to talk about, but I want to get Ron on. He's been waiting in the wings patiently, and we're going to have him on. Here we go. You have to look it up to see the Ekranoplane, whatever it was called. All right. So here we have Ron. So here he comes. Ron, you have your mic muted. So we'll see if we can get you unmuted. You should be live now.
Okay. Hey, Bear.
Hey. Might have a bit of a lag going on.
Didn't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you a little bit.
Maybe we'll try tuning you up a little bit. Any better?
I mean, I can hear you, but there's a time delay between your face and what it's saying.
Hello?
So what's going on?
Not much, buddy. Been watching you for years and first time talking to you.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah. Really appreciate you getting me on. I've been following your Brooklyn Pony since the get-go. Pretty much doing what you do. Built mine the same way you did.
That's good to hear.
Yeah. Started from scratch.
So what is your project?
66 coupe.
Okay.
Purchased the thing. Little knows to me that the bottom side was ready to fall out of it. So ended up salvaging the roof and the hood and the deck lid, scrapping the rest.
That sounds too common.
Yeah. So Dynacorn made a few bucks for me.
I'm sure.
Yeah. But we got the best part of the body done.
Okay.
Doing fitting panels and that kind of thing. It was an experience.
Good. But it's coming together.
Oh yeah.
Now, have you done other projects?
Do I have other projects?
Yeah, or have you done other cars?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. My '87 Chevy pickup, V20, restored that a couple times.
Yeah.
this time it was frame off.
Okay.
You know, bought it brand new and still own it.
That gets you a bell. Not everybody keeps something that long.
I've painted about every vehicle I've ever owned.
Okay.
But never did it for anybody else, just myself.
So what part of the country are you from?
New Hampshire.
Ah.
Big town of Ware.
Say it again.
Town of Ware. W-E-A-R, Ware.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm assuming
If you're familiar with New Hampshire, it's a little town.
Aren't they all in New Hampshire? Aren't they all little towns?
Yeah, we live in the woods.
Well, that's good. I could do that.
Yep. Good living.
So you said that if you've restored the '87 more than once, that leads me to believe that being in this up there and having maybe salt and snow, that's why that's been redone a couple times.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a full blown restore the first time. This time I had to more or less scrap all the sheet metal, cab and all, and bought another vehicle that I found that was rust free. Converted the cab from non-AC to AC cab. Same thing with the tunnel in the floor because mine's a 4-wheel drive.
Yep.
But got it all together, looking good.
That's cool.
So that's on the sideline now. I'm doing my Mustang.
Yeah. So at this point, you've got the body coming together?
Yeah. The body's together, the fenders. Well, I've recently taken the fenders off again because I'm starting to do the TCI front end.
Okay.
Yeah, I have everything fitted pretty good.
Good.
So I had to do the same thing with the quarter panels, the quarter panel extensions,
Yeah.
It didn't fit worth a crap.
No. Did you have to shorten the left quarter panel?
I sure did.
Okay.
No, actually, I had to lengthen it.
You had to lengthen the left quarter.
Yeah, from the top down. Yeah,
That's
like a quarter of an inch.
Wow. Not surprised.
It was the only way I could get the extension to line up with the deck lid.
I have a comment from Jeff. He says he's visited your town of Ware, famous for nail making, isn't it?
Yeah. Never heard of that.
Okay. Well, Jeff is from the UK, so I know he's been over to the States for a variety of things and times, but I wouldn't know. So.
I mean, if you look it up, it's spelled W-E-A-R-E.
Okay, W-E-A-R-E. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he's confused by he has it spelled W-A-R-E.
If there's another town like that in New Hampshire, I have never heard of it.
Well, So everybody says, "Where are you from?" You say, "Yes."
Yeah, that's where.
Well, that's
So
how.
yeah, I think I've watched every video you've made since, uh, say, Mystique.
Okay.
You know,
Well, that's probably when it started getting better. When I started making better videos, let's say,
yeah.
and trying to expand the process and make it more detailed. And so, yeah, that's been a while.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing. I mean, I'm just going to keep making these videos and trying to, be more creative with the process and how I make the videos and all that sort of thing. So,
Well, you recently retired.
yes,
Yeah. I
retired
did
from
back. Yeah, I've been retired 2 years now. I'm loving every minute of it.
okay. Well, I'm assuming you're a little bit older than me.
Yeah, I'm 70.
Okay, so you're a little bit older than me.
All on how you feel.
That's true. Well, I'm 53, so, and I'm still adapting to the idea that at 53, I'm still working. I'm not working at a job that pays well.
Yeah. Hey,
So, but
as long as you can do it.
yeah, I'm happy to be out here in the garage, and but the only thing that becomes a conflict, let's say, for my time in the garage. It used to be years ago when I didn't make videos, I would take my stereo and crank it up and go to work and do all my stuff, whatever I felt like doing. Now, with the videos, I can't have any music like that. I can't have any published music in the background, or it won't let me put it up. So I just have to be work in silence when I'm out here in the garage. But
small price to pay.
Yeah, it is. But there are also times where I'm not filming something and I can just crank up the radio and go to do my thing. So
Yeah.
Let me see. I got a comment on here. Arthur Woodward. Guys installing dash on 69 Mustang. Too many screws, too many bolts, too many nuts, pulling hair out. Get back with you. Okay. So he's in the middle putting in a dash in the 69. So that's good. And Jeff says, hi, Ron.
How you doing, Jeff? I didn't know if he could hear me.
He could probably, yeah, they can hear you. So David and Cheryl are asking, hey, Ron, love to see your project. And that is where they got their project. And they have a convertible, I think it's a 64 and a half convertible that they're building.
Yeah.
But do you have any pictures or anything, or do you have any access to?
Tons of pictures on my phone. Well,
that's okay.
I could, email you some or whatever.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Whatever. I think they were just curious about, on here if you had anything available, but that's fine.
Not on this laptop.
Okay. Let's see. We have. Let me get back up here a second. Derek, been watching Brooklyn Pony from the start. Man, that's rust. I'm sure you wonder sometimes how you did these projects. Yeah, I do. Jeff Reynolds, congratulations on your retirement. I don't know if he's talking to me or you, but we'll both take it. How about that?
Thank you very much.
David and Cheryl says that their 64 and a half has a lot of pop rivets, which is never a good sign.
No.
And then Marshall sent me a super sticker. Thank you, Marshall. Appreciate that. And I hope that the little video clip I sent you, I hope that helped with your transmission configuration, trying to get the height or the angle right on your drive shaft. Robert Bloxham checking in. Oh, Clark Clifford. I had a house on the Warren-Wentworth border in New Hampshire. Everyone that still lives there has to go to all the town meetings to stop the Massachusetts retirees from wanted curbs and streetlights. I'm guessing.
I've
So
heard of Wentworth.
what's that?
I've heard of Wentworth. Warren, I'm not sure of.
Okay. Interesting. Marshall, thanks for the measurements you sent. We'll get on the live stream another time to provide updates. Good. Very good. I'm glad that helped. So once you do the Mustang, do you have something else lined up?
Not really. I'm working a little bit at a time here. It's going to take me a while.
Yeah. Well, that's good though. I mean, it keeps you busy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. That's not a problem around here lately.
Yeah, I understand that. I know that, just the stuff I have to do in the garage. I have the Brooklyn Pony. I have the Jade Mustang. I do have the Camaro. People have been asking about that 68 Camaro over and over. So I have to sometime get that back in here. And then I have the 65 Mustang that's up in the garage, at the house garage, that I need to get out and do some stuff with it. So, and that's just stuff here right now. And I'm always having people calling me up and saying, hey, I want you to do my project or, do something for my car. So I'll always have something to do.
Nothing wrong with
that. Jeff is asking, Ron, what is it you did before retirement? Did your work lend itself in any way to your car projects? Is painting all your cars a clue? So he's curious as to what your work history was.
I was never a professional body man or a painter. I only did it on my own. I was a diesel truck mechanic. Before that, I was a light duty truck mechanic. I worked for Chevy and I worked for International.
So you have more mechanical background.
Yeah.
No, nothing wrong with that.
But I couldn't see letting anybody else do all the repairs I made, so I did everything myself.
Yep.
Well,
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
David and Cheryl, we were going to send you a new bell. You almost have that one wore out. No, this one's still good. It's still good. But it's weird. I have to hold it up in my hand to make it ring right. If I do it on the bench, it sounds kind of dull. So, and that's nothing wrong with the bell. I can tell you that. Derek is saying, just go cruising, man. Enjoy. He's talking to you. So.
Okay. Wish I had time to.
Yeah. Do they have a lot of that up there? You have cruise-ins and stuff?
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Like Main Street of Manchester, they have a big cruise night and car show combination. But it's only once a year.
Oh, really?
And local brewery, the local Budweiser brewery up here in Merrimack, they have car shows every summer.
Okay.
Right at the brewery. Other little ones hang around everywhere, but I don't bother.
Yeah. Well, they have one. There's in my little town. I say little town. It's gotten bigger, but they have it on. They have a cruise in on the first and the third Saturday of the month. So, and it's at a local pizza place. Usually a pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
And I keep forgetting that I'm available for that.
My oldest built a what was it, 74, 75? I think it was a 75 Vega.
Yeah.
It's a restaurant. Okay, big 350 in it and all that. It really helped up. We went to quite a few shows down in Massachusetts with that.
I like Vegas.
They get more than we do.
I think if I were to get a Vega, I would want it to be the 70 and a half. The one that copied the Camaro front end with the split bumper. I like that one.
I had a 71.
Yeah.
That I bought brand new. Had it for 2 years and cut it up. Made a hot rod out of it.
Yeah. It's funny. Back in that time period when they were doing that stuff with the little bumpers or whatever, trying to meet the standards, the Corvettes from 60, I don't know. I know 68, 69, 70, maybe 71, maybe 72. They had those little bumpers,
Yeah.
just those little bumpers. And well, the thing is, they weren't attached to anything. They weren't attached to the frame. They were bolted to the body. So the bumper was just for cosmetics. It didn't do anything, which,
That's right.
just kind of boggled my mind on that. But
Yeah. Johnny Law doesn't care.
yeah. Okay, Daryl.
Oh, go ahead.
No, David Sherrill says the good thing about their convertible is the frame is in very good condition. Well, that's a plus. I'll give you a bell for that. That is a plus.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else you'd like to talk about tonight, Ron?
I once had way back, high school days, had a 57 Chevy.
Yeah.
Okay. Put a straight axle under it. I needed a ladder to get into it. And didn't have a front bumper on it. I don't know how many times I got stopped by that. You gotta have a bumper. The bumper weighs more than the car.
Yeah. Yep.
So that project didn't last long. Ended up taking it all apart. They didn't care for that.
No. I know the 55 Chevy that I had, I didn't have any front bumper on it, but I had a piece of pipe between the frame rails. Nobody ever said anything.
Yeah.
But in Georgia, I'll say in Georgia, you can take the doors off your car. You can cut the roof off. You can be riding around in almost a frame. And as long as it has a windscreen and some lights on it, they're good to go. They don't care.
No emissions testing?
No, we do have emissions testing in at least where I live. The further out you get away from the Atlanta area, they don't have it. So.
Yeah. Oh,
well. Brian's commenting, another great bodywork product I found, Clean Sheets. Yes, Brian. I have those on my Amazon page. If you haven't seen them, I use Clean Sheets all the time. So, good product. I like it a lot.
I should ask you about that.
What's that?
Is it sheet paper?
It is paper, but it has a coating on it. Okay. So like one, hold on. This is the Clean Sheets.
Yeah, I've seen them on Amazon.
Yes. Well, the way it gives you, a hard back, obviously, and then the paper is sealed around the perimeter with like a wax.
Yeah.
So it's hard to transfer anything from one to the other, and then you can just peel it up like a notepad.
Right.
And pull it off. Now, it's basically just, I'm assuming, just paper. I don't know if there's any additive. I thought there was like a coating, but I don't even think there's a coating. I think it's just paper. But I have never had anything transfer through the paper.
Right.
So, and I always leave the top sheet in place with junk on it, because why tear off and have a clean sheet exposed until you need it? So, but yeah, I like those a lot. I used to use cardboard, and I know my dad used to use the vent window out of a old truck. He would take a glass, vent window, and he'd use it, and then you could just scrape it off with a razor blade, but it's much more convenient with these because you don't have to clean anything.
Right.
Not less work. So, Kevin. Laugh to hear Ron say how surprised he was at the rot in his 66 coupe. I was too with mine. Thankfully, we've got Barry to guide us through the resurrection process. Thanks, Barry. You're welcome, Kevin. Leonard, retirement is sometimes difficult when used to working for over half of your life, and then you stop and trying to fill to adjust time to fill in for what you used to do. This is true. It can be difficult. So far, I'm not struggling. I can tell you that.
I don't know how I had time when I was working to do anything.
Yeah. Battery burnout in 73, they mandated 5-mile-per-hour bumpers. That's why they all got longer. Okay, yeah. And Marshall, yes, highly recommend those too. He's talking about the clean sheets from my Amazon page. Thank you, Marshall. Yes. And anyway, now we're up to 46 on the view count, which is great. So what else is going on? Anything?
I got one note.
Okay.
Don't buy body filler over the internet.
Don't buy body filler over the internet.
No.
What did you buy, and where did you get it from?
I ordered a gallon of Rage Ultra.
Yeah.
And by the time I got it, it looked like somebody played baseball with it. You can't put that many dents in that can.
Did you get it off of Amazon?
I did.
Okay. What did you send it back?
It comes from Amazon.
Do what?
I don't know where it came from.
Okay. But did you send it back?
No. No, I need it, so I'll use it.
Yeah.
Didn't leak or anything. Well, I guess we'll live with it.
Well, just use it up and get another one.
Yeah.
777. I never remember to get clean sheets, so I just use a clipboard with printer paper. Yeah. Yeah, the clean sheets is much better. Much better. Oh, yeah, Leonard is saying, yeah, the adjustment finding something to do. Yeah. I understand that. But like I said, at this point, I get to hang out with you guys on Monday nights and drink coffee. Nothing wrong with that.
I have my one a day in the morning. That's it.
Yeah. Brian, sorry, Barry, I just mentioned trying them to my supervisor Saturday. She had them here for me today. Cool. About the clean sheets, I assume. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I've tried to, with my job at the airline, we had a repair process that required braze powder mixed with, for lack of a better term, I would say a medium. Okay. So braze powder into a medium that was similar to like Vaseline. Okay. The idea is if you take this braze powder and you mix it into this product, it becomes something you can put in a syringe and then inject it into the product you're putting braze on. So, and braze, if you're not familiar with this, in this instance, braze powder is used in the aircraft industry to hold a bunch of parts together under high heat. It actually is sort of like welding, but it uses a braze powder and bonds like honeycomb to rings and stuff. But anyway, the medium, like I said, is like this kind of like almost like Vaseline, maybe even a little thinner. But the more powder you mix, the thicker it gets and the drier it gets. Well, we had somebody complain. They're like, "Hey, what can we mix this up on?" Because people were mixing it on sheets of paper and having trouble, and some people were trying cardboard. I quickly said, "Clean sheets. That's all you need. Get clean sheets and you're done." Did they take my recommendation? No. They just like they I don't know if they just didn't trust me or what, but I'm like, this is the product you need for this purpose right here. But
Really?
it's pretty common that you can make a suggestion to somebody and they don't want to take it. They don't want to listen. So let's see. Derek, working from home has the pros and cons. Playing in the shed is great, but the list from the wife, not so good. Yeah. I'll give you a bell for that, but for the most part, my wife is happy to say, go out in the garage.
I give him 2 bells for that one.
Yeah. Let's see. Rick, I don't think that I will get to retire. I'll probably have to work a half day the day of my funeral. Yeah. Leonard, better than watching movies in the hangar bay on Monday night. Yeah, well, cool. Yeah, it is. Definitely is. Jerry must have sent me another email. Let me see if I can find it. Nothing yet, Jerry. Nothing yet. Let's see. Derek says you're lucky. Thanks, guys. Yep. Yep. You know, it is. We are lucky. I mean, any of us that can work for a company long enough to reach retirement. Yeah. And anymore, that's really seems to be going away when it comes down to it.
Right.
They'd rather rotate people through than to keep somebody there and have to pay, long term. Like in my instance, if I work for X amount of money at my age, me leaving allows them to hire somebody for this amount of money, saves them a ton, and then they can just pay them for whatever period of time and get them out the door and get another one in when they start paying a low amount of money. But that's the nature of the beast, I guess. So let's see. Boondocker is checking in. Glad he's here. Sam Smith, my wife heard that. Now I got to go inside. So is your wife watching with you again tonight, Sam? Or are you actually inside and just saying that? You need to fess up, be honest. Barry, that Mustang in Louisiana that has a 69 fastback. I'll have to. Oh, did you send me a link to that, Leonard, or not? I don't remember. Okay. All right. Well, here let's. Hey, Ron.
Yo.
If you don't mind, I got somebody else that wants to come on. Jerry had a conflict with his fender extension. He showed us a week or so ago. So
Yeah.
he wanted to show an update on that. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get Jerry on. So is that all right with you?
No,
Okay.
no problem.
Well, I'm glad you were here. I really am glad to got to talk to you.
Very happy to be here.
All right. Well, we'll catch up again sometime.
Oh, yeah.
All right. See you.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jerry, I'm going to send you a link and we can go from that. So it'll take just a minute to get there. Has to go up to the satellite, bounce around a couple times, and then make its way back down to us. So Brian, I paid $60 for Age Extreme. Could not have it shipped from out of state due to our great Governor Wolf restrictions on COVID shipping rules. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm glad I don't live in Pennsylvania anymore. Just saying. Okay, Leonard, you look into it. Dave and Cheryl, I've been off work since 2016. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that a retirement or is that something else? Because that's two different scenarios. Jeff, Barry and Ron, the best thing to do in retirement, and your wife, put her out to work and learn to become efficient with housework. Yeah. We'll work on that. Sam, she said that it's time to eat anyway. Well, you must be getting punched around there, Sam, because your typing is really, you must be in panic mode because somebody's telling you need to get in the house. So I see your letter, your typing is all messed up. All right. I'm going to bring Jerry on and he's going to talk about his Mustang. So let's get on. There's Jerry.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I've been better some days, but today's not too bad. I've got the side ring fixed, I think.
Okay.
And I just want to show you the progress on it and get your comments on it.
Okay.
So here we go. So I hope you can see kind of how it's lining up.
Yeah.
And so I think I typed a message. I was concerned about the edge here.
Oh, the back edge?
And because here's what I'm running into with the back edge.
Okay.
And so 2 coatings before, I sanded all that off. And then what happened was when I started handling it, I chipped everything. So where I am right now, sorry about the video.
That's
Where
okay.
I am right now is I think I need to put a skim coat
On
on
top.
to line this up.
Okay.
And so I don't know if you remember how bad this was out, but it was about like this.
Yes.
And so now when I bolt it up, it looks like this.
Yeah. That looks a lot better.
But as I said, I'm concerned about this edge.
Okay.
And I think you recommended putting spacers on.
Yes.
And what I'm thinking about doing is just sanding off a little bit more so the edge is not right up against this fender.
Okay.
And then not putting spacers on because, or shims, just because I'm concerned that the spacing would be out. And
I lost your sound.
yeah, let me do something here real quick.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
I need to turn off the volume on the computer.
Okay. That's all right.
I need to turn.
There we
So
go.
I think this is better.
Okay.
So here's kind of how the car looks now. Less the light ring. And you can remember
Yeah.
as we look down the side here, this alignment.
Yep.
Well, I can tell you how to adjust this alignment. It's a 4-pound dead blow hammer with a piece of paper or
Block of wood.
tell against this to get the final alignment. This alignment is not going to go away. I don't know how to fix that. It's just,
I probably do, but you won't like it.
yeah. No, I know where you're going with this, and I just, you know, I've thought about this a lot, and you know, if I look at the alignment here along the bottom of the door and up here, I've got almost perfect alignment.
Yeah.
But here, it just sucks.
Yep.
The style lines line up. This is a problem. And I don't know how to fix that. I just be honest with you. I just don't know how to fix that.
Well,
And,
not without doing some cutting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I've actually thought about this and taking these fenders off, cleaning them up, cutting this down, and then doing a repaint job.
Right.
And I may do that eventually. I just don't know. But everything else is lining up pretty good.
Yeah.
The bumper's not lining up really well because of the mounting brackets, but I figured out how to fix that. So I'm going to fix that probably this week as I'm working on it. So you can see here the space there.
Yep.
Versus here.
Yep.
And that's all due to the alignment of these mounting brackets here.
You have to angle your phone down a little bit. You aim too high. There you go.
So
yeah. How's the peak of the bumper? The peak versus the hood. How close is that?
So I need to do a little adjustment on the hood.
Okay.
It needs to move over a little bit this way. And when that happens, this gap will close up just a little bit.
Right.
And so I'd be pretty happy with that.
Now, what I was trying to ask you, how does the peak of the bumper align with the peak of the hood?
Oh, let me show you. Oh, on the right side, the right side, here's the peak of the bumper. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I misunderstood your question.
Yeah, the center line of the bumper, the very peak in the front, and the point of the hood, where the hood and the bumper overlap each other if you look straight up and down. So that's kind of a reference. The bumper.
I guess I'm not quite understanding.
Okay. Does the bumper have a bit of a center to it that's kind of raised out? The very center of the bumper, is it? Yeah, right there, the point. How does that point align with the point on the hood? You see what I'm getting at? So like if you drop the straight edge right there.
Yeah, it's pretty straight.
Okay. So that's what I look at for a variety of things. When you see the fender or the hood and the bumper, are they in alignment? And yet you have a gap difference between fenders. What's truly off? Something. What's not centered is kind of what I'm getting at.
Well, and Brian, I think from the last time we talked, I think my theory was that this fender here had been replaced.
Okay.
Which corresponds with the work I've done here to
Right.
get this thing to look in line.
Right.
And so my guess is, as I look at this thing, and to be honest with you, and all your preaching of pre-alignment and stuff like that, I wished I had gotten on your channel before I did a lot of this work, because I didn't find you until a lot of the stuff had been done.
Yeah.
But the problem I have here, to be honest with you, I don't have a real problem with the gap here versus the gap over there.
Okay.
Except this bolt that's down here, I can tighten. The bolt over there, I can't. So I've got to figure out how to slide this thing a little bit over.
Yeah.
But you make a good point here with the center of the hood and the center of this.
Right.
I mean, this thing is pretty much dead in its own.
Okay. Because really, you could take a level and just put it on a peak, and line it up on the peak of both of those, and that would kind of give you a general idea if it was square or not. But with the gaps on either side, obviously the brackets can only move so much. They're flat against the frame rails.
Correct.
So one thought is to cheat the brackets by putting a washer behind the back or the front of the bolt, the bracket as it mounts to the frame. And by doing that, that's going to cheat the nose one way or the other. If you have one washer on the back bolt, it's going to push the bracket, left or right, depending which one you're working on. The alternative may be to enlarge the holes in the brackets themselves so that you can slide the bumper over. So depending on what your ultimate goal is, that may be, two options that you could use to try to cheat the bumper around.
Well, that's a pretty good suggestion, because I had thought about the second one you made, which was just to slot out with the
holes,
a saw, and elongate the bolting area on the brackets, so I could move the bumper a little bit over.
Right.
But the thing I hadn't thought about is this alignment here.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing the way I'm looking at it right now, it looks pretty correct. Which,
Well, do you happen to have a level in your grasp?
yes, I do.
Because you could quickly. Well, I don't know if that's long enough. You might need a longer one than that. Because you'd have to get it on the peak of both of them.
Well, I do have a longer level if you have time for me to get it. I mean, it
Sure.
takes about.
Let me answer some questions while I'm looking at it while you're
right.
moving around. Okay, so Cooter Lev says, thanks to Jerry, I spent last weekend checking alignment on my 66.
Excellent.
Matt Brooks, he's suggesting hidden A-pillar damage near the hinges may be the gap issue. Possible. Marshall Obraker, can you push the fender back? Might help roll down the top. Wonder how square it would measure. I don't know if you could go back any much further on the fender to compensate for that where it meets the cowl. That could be the problem. And then Matt Brooks, try a tram gauge if you have one under the hood. So a tram gauge would be helpful. Marshall, almost looks like the right side headlight could come back too, as if it were too far forward on that side. Maybe. Let's see what that level says. Just out of curiosity.
I'm not sure you can see it, but the level, the bubble, based on where I have it right now, is center line.
Okay. So that may tell you that your bumper is in the right position relative to the hood. So then it becomes, do I want to be more concerned with the side or the center? You know, there's.
I guess the short answer is that I'm okay with leaving the bumper the way it is right here, and the gap here. I'm okay with that because the average person is not going to pick up that gap difference.
Right.
The problem is I can't tighten the bolt under here. There's a bolt here that needs to be tightened.
Move your camera down. Okay. So you can't get on it.
That's
you can't
correct.
tighten it up. I get it.
And so I think what I can do is pull the bumper back off. And what I was thinking, which was your second suggestion, was just slotting these brackets a little bit. So I got a little bit of movement here so that I could go ahead and bolt these brackets here.
Right.
Onto the bumper.
Yep.
Versus the fender and slide them on without doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, it looks like your rock guard and everything lines up okay on the fenders, right?
It does. Okay. I don't know. The lighting's not so good here. Maybe I can
see
put the lighting on.
Yeah.
But the rock guard and whatever this piece is up here.
That's the rock guard.
All right. So
that's the valance.
The valance, all that lines up great. Now, what I did run into is I run into a problem here with these bumper fittings,
right,
lining up. These were original coming off the frame, and I didn't replace those. These brackets that are on the outside here, I did replace those.
Okay.
But you can see here, this gap here.
Yeah.
Look at this gap here.
Oh, wow.
And so I had thought that maybe the whole car was twisted, or
it's possible. There's a question asking, are you sure the left side of the bumper isn't pushed in, or the right side, passenger side? Is it a brand new bumper?
No, it's not.
Okay. So you don't, can you, I mean, it's, do you know, did it come on the car or was it?
It was on the car. The plans are long term because the bumpers were in pretty good shape, except for a little bit of rust on the inside, and I fixed all that. Was to put them on there because of just the cost I'm going through right now.
Sure.
I'm in the major spend right now in terms of, and I never thought upholstery was going to be as expensive as it was,
Yeah.
or as it is.
Yeah.
But it is. But the long-term plan was to replace the bumpers with brand new bumpers.
Right.
But these are cleaning up pretty nice.
Yeah.
And in
Well,
fact, you can't tell on this one, but let me just walk around the car a little bit and I'll show you. You remember the gap here that we had?
right.
That's almost perfect. This is almost perfect. The only problem I got now is right here. I've got just a little bit of a gap
Yep.
that doesn't line up. And so we let that go. But here's the rear bumper. And this bumper was in worse shape than the front bumper. And I just used some 4-0 steel wool and cleaned this thing up. And so it looks pretty decent, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
And so all these things lined up really nice. Here, the extensions, all this is in. And so
Yeah. I mean, it looks
it-
decent. Yeah.
it's coming together. You know, I think I told you last time I talked to you on the live stream was I had envisioned this to be a show car.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to become a show car. I think it's going to be a cruising car and maybe a daily driver.
It's really tough to make a show car.
It really is. I mean, I mean, when you look at the body lines and everything you got to do to win in these wheel world of wheel
Yeah.
competitions, things like that, it's just, yeah, it's tough.
I have somebody asking some questions. Let me just see. We talked about the left side of the bumper being pushed in, and Derek is saying the driver's side guard has to come out a bit, which will have to be done before adjusting the bumper. He's talking about the fender when he says guard. The driver's side guard has to come out a bit. So I'm not sure exactly which area he's referring to.
All right. Well, let me
these
step
two.
up here and let me show you a back shot. So on the right side, here's the fender.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to fix that. I really don't. I mean, I've worked on this thing and I've pressed on it, and I don't think it's going to get any better.
Well, not without modifying the inner structure.
And then over on the left side, which I think the question was to, let me show you that. Sorry, my shop is a little congested.
No, that's fine. I'm jealous you have a big lift.
Yeah. So this one lines up pretty nice. Body line comes out, but there's no way to pull this fender any farther back,
Right.
other than the fact that the mounting bracket that's about right here,
Yep.
that mounts this to the top,
Yep.
it is possible to move it back. But here's the problem you're going to run into. You can see the body line here.
Yep.
As it goes
It's got a
out.
nice reveal. It's got a nice reveal there.
Yeah. I mean, I can't move it back much.
No. Well, and this is exactly, and I hate to use the word preaching, but this is the kind of stuff I preach, is when you're building these cars, nobody can just grab a fender and put it on and say it's done, or a door. It just doesn't work that way. There has to be fit this, try that, fit this, try that, figure it out. On the Brooklyn Pony, I had to cut off the mount point for the fender, the upper mount you're talking about on the A-pillar, and I had to make a new one because the aftermarket fender, it would not even come close, you know. So I had to make the bracket fit the fender, and that's just, there's so many things that kind of snowball into it, and as you're saying, you're realizing now all these things you have to verify before you go into paint or anything like that. And that is why, you know, like I've been working on a Broken Pony and fitting this and fitting that and fitting this and fitting that. Even if I'm not ready to assemble it, I want to make sure when everything is done and it's all painted, I can just assemble it and then it's done. You know, get all the hard work done well before you get to this point.
You know, I hear you loud and clear. For the lack of experience and knowledge, thought I had done a lot of that stuff.
Sure.
But as I've come to the final assembly, what I found out is that, you know, I didn't pay a lot of attention to the final detail of assembly. And let me just show you one point that just accents that. Look here.
Yep.
Now I can fix this because
Sure.
I know what the problem with it is. But if I walk around to the right side of the car, if I can get there,
That's a big lift. That's a really big lift.
These lifts are nice.
Yeah.
So look at this one.
Yeah.
And that in my mind is as good as it was when it came from the factory.
Right. Well, see, and since you're standing there and looking at something, I want you to hold still for a second. And I'm not picking at you by any means, because without knowledge and experience and information being shared, you just don't know. So as an example, you know, when I look at your bumper, there's room for improvement on that bumper.
Yes, there is. And I know what some of the improvement is.
Yeah. Well, and that's why, like I point out, whenever I start putting on the tail panel, and I don't weld those brackets in until I'm ready and say this fits. Then I go to the brackets, mock the bumper in place, and make sure the alignment's all there. And if I have to modify the brackets, which I have done to make them fit better. You know, unfortunately, it's, you know, we want to look at these as, let's say, like, you know, the modern cars where you can pull a fender off of a 2007 Buick or whatever and get one from the junkyard and it bolts right on. But with these cars, they weren't that straight to begin with. And then we try to envision a car that is straight and doesn't have issues, and it becomes this compound problem because so many things interact with so many other things. And until you get to that point, you don't realize.
You're right on that. And what I think you just pointed out was this gap right here.
Yes.
And I had not picked up on that. I was looking at the alignment here.
Right.
And I knew the bumper needed to slide a little bit to the left, to the driver's side.
But actually, it needs to twist a little bit.
It does.
Yeah. To get the gap right on top and square to the quarter.
And then I put spacers in to get it to line up as good as it did.
Right.
But it looks like, because I didn't fit the bumper to this panel, whatever this panel is here, the rear
lower
panel
balance?
here
ties
the
well, you got the tail
together.
panel up there that holds the taillights.
Yep. And this is original with the car.
Okay.
So I didn't replace that.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned with the curve in this back bumper.
That's natural.
And so at the car show last weekend, I looked at a 66 Mustang and I went in and measured the bumper curve. And the guy was like, "What are you doing to my car?" And I said, "Well, I'm just checking to see that this is kind of the original way it was done."
Right.
But when I welded, you know, when I replaced this panel here, up in here,
right,
when I replaced that, I didn't mock any of that up. I just took the old one out and laid the new one in and tacked it in, and I put the new frame rails in, and I just welded it up.
Yep.
So, shame on me.
Well, but it's not. You can't blame yourself. That's the thing is, and the nice part about this, actually, I know you're struggling with this. I know it's going to bother you, and I understand that. But by doing this, you're learning, but you're also pointing out stuff that other people need to learn. So if people watch this video, they can go, "Oh, I didn't think of that," or you know what I mean. So unfortunately, it's something you're dealing with, but it may help somebody else with their project. So you got to think.
Well, well, I sure hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Anyway, I just appreciate the time on your channel, and
Yeah.
I've learned a ton after I found your channel. I just wish I'd have found it 18 months ago.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised, and I've had a lot of people say that I should have a lot more subscribers to my channel, and I agree with them. Because honestly, if you look at the stuff that I'm showing and the details and all that sort of thing, there's not many people doing the way I do it or how I share stuff, period, on YouTube. They'll go through a time-lapse sequence of putting something together and say, it's done, but they're not showing all these little details that help people out.
Well, I've watched a lot of channels, and there's one channel that is approaching 100,000 viewers or subscribers, and he does Mustangs and Mercuries and occasionally Camaro and stuff like that. But what he does, he doesn't show what you show. He
Right.
shows like how to put a headliner in. Then he shows how to put the door glass in, and he shows different things which are important
Sure.
to know. And so I appreciate his information, but in the long and the short of it is, if you're building a show car like I thought I was building, then I need what you're telling everybody. And I'm hoping that from the mistakes I've made and the people that are on the channel right now are able to take some advantage of that.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you have to see things from other people to really appreciate the point made.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
All right. Well, I've got some other questions on here, or some comments. Let's say, hold on a second. I got to back up a little bit. One comment was, are you sure the left side of the bumper isn't pinched in? Angle should be the same as driver's side. So that was a thought I had as well. If that bumper had been nudged on the side, it could be bowed in just a hair, which would be affecting that bolt location or that bolt attachment. So the only idea that I have for that would be to make a template from side to side. So you could look at the right side or driver's side and compare it to the passenger side as a template idea. Because if you had to pull on that fender a little bit, or the bumper, and maybe squeeze it out, that may be something I can't tell by looking at it if it's bent or not. So that's just a thought.
That's a good suggestion.
Clark is saying, open the hood and see if the aprons are okay. So we're kind of past that at this point. Derek Pro, going by how fussy you are in your videos, Barry, looks like driver's door needs to go back, then readjust guard, bumper, etc., which might help with the twist effect you were talking about. Well, it's possible, but as he said, you can't go back unless you modify that bracket, and then it's going to destroy the reveal on the door. 777 Smitty is saying, I bet the lip under passenger fender needs trimming. So he's talking about where it meets the cowl, that maybe there's something in that area that's making contact that's not allowing it to flex. I tend to believe that the inner structure needs to be modified to let it drop down, but that's a little more complicated.
If we're talking about the right fender towards the cowl and the A pillar, I can actually press down on that and bring it into alignment, but the gap between the door alignment and where it fits the A-pillar doesn't really change a lot. It just pushes it down, makes it a little nicer. And I've looked at that, and I've thought about pulling the fender off and just, grilling up on it and trying to bend that down a little bit to make it fit a little bit nicer. But I'm not sure in the long term it's going to change anything.
Well, just as a point of reference, if you go back to the Brooklyn Pony videos and you look at the right fender, I actually drilled apart that fender. I drilled off the bracket, the inner structure, to make it adjust because it was stamped incorrectly or whatever. It was like welded together wrong. So I broke welds loose so that I could reshape it. So I'm not saying do that, but I'm just saying there's a chance that fender wasn't right to begin with. It wasn't built right.
Well, and that could answer a couple questions that I don't have answers to. I think I told you that I know the rear quarters, both quarters have been replaced.
Okay.
Because they installed them over the top of the roof, and they used pop rivets. And then I thought the front end might have been bumped a little bit because I think it was rear-ended and probably pushed into another car.
That's
so
possible.
I'm thinking, as of a week or so ago, that the left front fender was the one replaced. After listening to some of the comments and your commentary, I'm thinking maybe both front fenders were replaced.
It's really possible. It is. So
I don't have any way of knowing that, but it kind of is what it is. And I'm not adverse to pulling this thing back down and doing some more body work on it and just repainting it, once I get it done.
Right.
But it's just,
it's frustrating.
It is a little frustrating, but most of it is I just don't know what I'm getting into.
Right.
And which is why I've spent a lot of time on your channel.
Well, I do appreciate that part of it.
Yeah.
Rudderify is saying that's a typical Mustang. I've never seen a straight bumper on a 65 in my entire life.
Well, excellent. He should get 2 belts.
Yeah, I'll give him 2. Battery burnout. The general public won't notice those gaps. They will give you a pretty penny for it. That's true.
And you're right. For the cruise-ins and the local shows to go to, it's going to be perfect. I mean, there's not a problem with that. And then I've got the show car that I showed you a couple videos back, the red GT500 Cobra. That is a money car. I mean, it wins money.
Yes. Well, maybe you just ought to keep it that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Derek is saying car looks great. It's just time and adjustment. Jeremy Umdenstock is saying car looks awesome. 777 Smitty, you will always be your worst critic. I agree with that 100%. Until I go to a car show, then I have to keep my mouth shut. I have to just walk by certain cars because I've said it before. I'm so hypercritical of what I do that I look at other people's cars and I just have to walk away so I don't say anything. Because some people are looking at those cars thinking they're incredible show cars. And I'm looking at it where I can stick a finger through the door gap. And I'm like, I can't live with that. It's just me. But, anyway.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm with you. And I, by choice, I am my worst critic. And, this is the first car that I've ever done it from a full resto. And it's the first car that I ever painted from scratch.
Oh, it looks pretty good then.
And so, I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
And I kind of, from the whole painting process and the assembly process too, I've learned a lot. And again, and not to blow smoke up your dress, but watching your channel and how you do with the restoration in terms of the panels and the fitting and stuff like that. If I'd have run into this 18 months ago, I would have fixed a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah, I agree. Yeah, because you're that kind of guy. You would. I mean, you would have. I know that.
And I've gone back, and I don't know how many times I've told folks that I know and at the shows and stuff like that, is that occasionally I get a little frustrated and I want to get things through, and I'll take a shortcut. Shortcut is FU'd, and I go back and tear it all out and redo it again.
Yep.
It's just, there's no shortcuts in this business if you want a car to look the way you want it to look.
Well, here's an expression we use at the body shop frequently, because this was so true. And I should probably put this on a shirt. There's never enough time to do it right, but there's always enough time to do it the second time.
Yeah. No doubt about that.
That's what it comes down to. Everybody wants to get in a hurry, and I don't get in a hurry. I mean, you see, I don't know. I'm not going to get in a hurry because it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Well, kudos out to you. I mean, I can't tell you enough that what I've learned off your channel is the reason why I've done what I've done, as you well know.
Yeah.
And hopefully in the future I can do more.
I hope so too. I mean, once you get this one kind of figured out and you realize, hey, I can just drive this car and be happy with it, you might find another one that you can roll in and start from zero and work your way through the process. And maybe that'll be your show car.
Maybe. We'll
Yeah.
see. I mean, I want to build a show car. I really do.
Yeah.
And of course, time is not on my time is, well, I'm short of time. I mean, I'm in good health, but I'm 69 years old. So, I've been working on this car now, be 2 years in October. And although, in all fairness, if I'd known what I know now, I could have probably shortened that time a bit because I wouldn't have had to go back and redo everything.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you get one under your belt, you learn from it, and then you go, I can do this again. Let me try another one.
Well, I am. I'm looking for a car right now. I mean, actively looking for one.
Well, I keep saying I have the 65 V8 3-speed manual car that is almost like rust-free. And on one hand, I'm thinking I could just sell this and make a lot of money, or I can hold on to it and do it my way. So I keep looking myself. I want a 69 Mach 1, but I don't want it finished. I want one that's rusty, needs everything. That's fine. That's fine. I want to build one myself. So I'll find one eventually.
So I have a question. I'm going to switch gears on just a little bit.
Okay.
On one of your last live videos, you talked about doing a 67 conversion to a coupe to a fastback.
Yep.
I found one on eBay today that I was looking at, and as I was reading through it, I mean, this thing is immaculate from a standpoint of the pictures and what the description is. But what, in your opinion, would be a value of a car that had been done from a coupe to a fastback in a 66 or 67 version?
That's a really tough question to answer because, for one, the VIN number makes it less valuable in the mind of a collector because they're like, it's a coupe. No matter what you do, it's still a coupe. Adding on the other panels, okay. So you have to look at a couple of things. What engine combination does it have? Is it built to original spec, or is it modified? Does it have a later engine, a later transmission? You know, have they modified a bunch of things to make it a better car?
Yes, yes,
And-
and yes.
Okay, so I can only guesstimate what somebody might want from one of those, but I would assume they're probably trying to get $50,000 or $60,000 out of it.
I don't know. The eBay price was about round numbers $15,000. It hadn't met the reserve yet,
Right.
and I'm guessing when I look at, I found what was an original 65 GT 350, and it was $19,000.
Yep.
So I mean, or that's where the bid was.
Right. Well, they're probably selling price a bit higher than that, quite a bit higher. But the thing,
I would guess that car would go for, based on what I found in the market, that car would go for around 40,000
probably
if all the numbers lined up and things like that.
right.
And I mean, pictures look good, but
Sure.
you can never tell. I've got a friend down in North Alabama that bought a GT40 that was from a reputable rebuilder.
Yeah.
He's got $90,000 in this car and it won't even run. And everything the reputable rebuilder did was
Garbage.
the things that you talk about not doing.
Right.
And so, I mean, he bought it on the internet, never went and looked at it. He just got it shipped in. And I mean, he's sick over it. I mean, he's got, like I say, he's got $90,000 in it.
Yeah.
And it doesn't run.
Well, see, and not that I'm not here to pat myself on the back, but that's why I get contact from people all the time. Hey, can you finish my car? Can you build my car? Can you fix my car? You know, I get that every week. Somebody wanting to send me a car because they see what I do in the videos, and they also know there's shops out there that have a reputation, and they don't do good work. They're hacking stuff together and just sending it out the door and saying, "Give me my money," you know. So,
Well, I tell you what, I mean, I grew up in the electrical industry, dealing with large automation projects, much like the manufacturer of airplanes that used to work on them. And, you know, you get the same thing. I mean, you get these fly-by-night companies that come in, and so they can do all this stuff. And, yeah, but they can't tie it all together. And it's just,
yep.
It's horrible. Anyway, Barry, I really appreciate time on your channel. And if there's any more questions, I try to answer those. If not, well then,
I think we're pretty well caught up. I got all. Cooter Lev is saying, check the upper bracket on the bumper guards. Easily bent, had to straighten mine to get common alignment. So that's the guards. It's the little bumperettes. He's talking about the angles.
And actually, I had to adjust those today just to get them bolted on.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. But, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing on it. I just made it small, put it in the vise, make small tweaks on it, and go check it. And finally got the clearance and got it to bolt up.
So, well, here's a question, and I know you don't have a YouTube channel, but Mason is asking, Jerry, what's your YouTube channel, and also how big is your shop? Like, what's the overall size and length of your shop?
My shop is a 30. It's 40 feet long, 30 feet wide. It's got a 12.5-foot ceiling in it, and I've got part of it partitioned off right now that I used for a temporary paint booth that I used on that. And so the shop is what I did. It was originally a pole barn. When I bought the property that we live on now, it was a pole barn. So I went in and framed up all the inside of the interior with 2x4s, and I put 2x6 insulation. So you had a 4.5-inch post that was the upright for the structure. And so that give you about a inch and a half of insulation clearance off of the metal.
Yep.
And so then I went in and I had 2.5 inches or 2 inches of closed cell foam sprayed on the ceiling. And then I went back because of some problems they had, and we sprayed another 2 inches of open cell on that. So I've got about 5 inches of foam on the ceiling, which is why I can run. I've got two Mitsubishi mini splits. One's they're both 2,000 BTUs.
Probably 24,000.
24,000. You're right. 24,000 BTUs, and I can hang meat in this shop if I want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
And then I added to the east side of the building where I get all the sun. I added a 20-foot shed that blocks all the sun off the side of the building, and
Nice.
I only get it on the top. And then on the west side, I've got big trees that block everything. So,
Yeah.
I mean, the heating and cooling efficiency. To be honest with you, I don't have a separate meter out here that I can tell you what it cost, but I can tell you that my total electric bill from a house which is 3,600 square feet with 2,200 feet of square basement, and the shop is, I just broke my first $300 electric bill this month.
That's pretty good.
And so I'm happy. I don't know what it costs to heat and cool it,
Right.
And they're heat pumps, so they're inverters, so they're highly efficient.
Yep.
As you well know, because I think on your workshop video you did a video on that, and they just, I mean, that's the way to go in these workshops.
Yeah.
Put
I
those
wish I had them in my house.
Yeah.
I really do. Yeah.
So it's great. I mean, it's like I've got the temperature set right now to 80 degrees in here, but it's been running on 75 most of the day.
Yeah.
And I'm not working, so 80 degrees is perfect.
Yeah. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to let you go, Jerry.
All right.
I'll answer some other questions here, and I've got some other things to talk about. So I'm glad you were here and showed us an update.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. We'll see you.
See ya.
Okay. So Brian is asking, hey, Barry, what transmission is in the Brooklyn Pony? Well, you must not have kept up with some of the videos. I've got several on there. The transmission is the 4R70W. So it's the overdrive transmission with a lockup converter. A couple of videos ago, several videos ago, I did the brackets where I had to make my own transmission cross member. So you can check those out. It might give you some information there. I'm not fully done with the installation because I'm not ready to do that just yet. So, Shannon, this is not related, but I want to ask you if you used SPI Southern Polyurethane epoxies, red oxide, and black. It has worked good for me so far. I have not. I've heard good things about them, but I haven't tried them yet. So I'll give you a bell for bringing that up. Maybe at some point I will get to that point and get some of that, but I just haven't yet. Max Hathaway adjustment can only go so far. In many cases, lots of custom modifications are needed to make things perfect. It's all just time. That is very true. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort. Boondocker, I appreciate Jerry's attitude. I do too. He's plugging away at it, and that's great. Kudelet, my dad taught me everything had to be put together clean, tight, and right. Yeah, I'll go with that. Sounds good. LD. I have been in Georgia for a few years and finding Mustang restoration and repair shops are very few here. I'm thinking of opening a 64.5 to 1993 Mustang only shop. Is it worth it? That's a good question. I don't have a great answer for that. I've got some friends who have body shops. Well, I have one friend who he just does restoration work, and he expanded several times. He's got multiple buildings now and is loaded with restoration work. So he's doing very well. I have another friend who has a full-blown body shop, but it is more than half full, probably 2/3 full of restoration stuff. So apparently there is a demand for restoration type work. The problem is, how deep do you go? Because like in my instance, I want to build this car to where it's straight and right, everything is correct going out the door. Are people going to pay for that? Yes. Everybody going to pay for that? No. So my difficulty is I can't cut corners. I can't. Somebody says I only want to spend this amount of money. I have to say, well, take it somewhere else, because I don't do that kind of work. So you have to kind of figure out your client base and what they're willing to spend, and then determine if that's something that you can turn into an income. So I know we tried it at the body. We tried having the body shop. We did collision work, and we started doing restoration work, and things all fell apart. So I may not be the person you really want to talk to. Boondocker. I joke in my construction job that perfect is close enough. I like that. Derek Pro, it's a credit to you. Keep up the good work and enjoy. Thank you, Derek. In a credit to you. Thank you. Clark Clifford. Youth is wasted on the young. I agree 100%. Lots of bells coming. My father tells me, regardless of how much I ask for my 65, it's only worth what someone else would give me for it. Very, very true. You know, funny story. You know what? I haven't done this in a while. Let me do this. Boom. Junkyard story time. Okay. Since you brought that up, I have a funny story that it just popped into my head because of that comment. Years and years ago, of course, my dad had his junkyard and had 10 acres of cars, well over 1,000 cars. I grew up around anything and everything built between late 30s up into the 80s at that time before I left and went to the military. So around plenty of cars. I learned a lot about that. You know, I learned a lot of what I know from the junkyard. Well, when you say you're only worth what somebody will pay you for, right, for your car, my dad would always wheel and deal with people. Sometimes he would make them an offer, and sometimes he would let them make an offer. In one instance, he had some friends that he dealt with all the time, and he would torture them because they would come up and say, I want to sell you a car. And my dad, and this isn't exactly the point that I'm going to, and I'm going to relate this because it's part of the sequence. The guy would show up with a car, and it could be whatever. Who knows? It could be a really nice car. It could be a junker car. And the guy would say, I want to sell you this car. What do you give me for it? My dad would say, I'll give you everything, all the money I have in my pocket. I'll give you all the money I have in my pocket. And these guys, they'd have to look at him. And they try to do the poker face thing. And that was a negotiation. I'll give you all the money I have in my pocket. And so, but my dad would say, you take the deal. That's it. You're going for it. So in one instance, the guy said, I'll take it. And the guy wanted like $1,000 for the car, and my dad had like $200. Here you go. Made the deal. So he did this with these guys quite a bit. And I remember one day, the guy shows up and he's got a really nice car. And the guy says, you want to buy this car? My dad said, I'll give you all the money I got in my pocket. The guy was like, he didn't take the deal. And my dad said, okay, see ya. The guy said, no. I want to know. He said, no, you don't. He said, no, I want to know. So my dad pulls out. He had $4,000 in cash in his pocket. And I think this was at a time when you could still get $1,000 bills. So if I remember correctly. And the guy was pretty upset with himself. But my point of the story is, we have guys come up all the time wanting to buy cars or sell cars, and this guy came up and he's looking at one of the cars at the junkyard, and the guy's looking at it. He says to my dad, "What do you take for this car?" And my dad says, "I won't take." I think it was just to make it simple. He says, "I won't take less than $1,000 for it." Okay. The guy looks at him and he says, "Oh, would you take 1,200?" My dad said, "Sure, deal." I'll never forget that. That was funny. It was still funny. So that's it for the junkyard story time. I thought that was funny. Anyway, let me pull that back off. Go back to comments. All right. So where are we at? Kuderlev, I shed a tear for every coupe that is lost to a cutting torch by Dynacorn and don't destroy an original pony. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, but some of them, I mean, they need to be cut up to fix, put in new metal. So I understand that though. Jeremy Umdenstock, 62 watching, 29 likes. Press the thumbs up, everyone. I'll give you a bell for that. That's one thing that needs to be addressed. And let me see here. Yeah, it's showing 36 likes now. So that's a plus. Let's go back here. Boondocker. Being a contractor remodeler, I get people saying to me that I must hate HGTV because they show people how to do stuff. Yeah, I tell them that I get more business that way. Yes, I'll give you some bells for that, because that stuff you see on HGTV, they only show you what they want to show you. Just like anything else, they cut away, come back. This wall's done. We put in some studs and some sheetrock, and look how pretty it is. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunity. Somebody starts digging into something, and they realize pretty fast that they're in over their head, and they call up you to get it fixed. Kevin Craw, finish it as it is, Jerry. Just beautiful for a fun, better than pretty driver, and that's what these cars are. Yes, I agree with that. 777. Speaking of AC, I just heard Goodman shut down supply. Oh, because they're running out. Oh, that's scary. That's not a good sign. Kevin Crow, come on, boys, got to stay cool in the workshop now. Could be plenty of time to spend. Way too hot in the afterlife. Let's see. Derek Pro, been watching your last video on front runner system. Looks great. Notice water pump is facing opposite way to the radiator outlet of modified hose. I point that out. Comes in late in the video, but I do point that out. That I know whenever the radiator was bought, it was bought before the assumption of the Vintage air system, or knowing that the Vintage air system had a reverse flow water pump that would push it to the other side. So I think I found a solution, and I will update once I get that solution in my hands. So I had Ricard from Sweden sent me a link to a hose that looks like is exactly what I need. So I've ordered the hose off of Amazon, and once I get that in my hands and can compare it, I will update. So just keep that in mind. Yep, 39 likes. Yep. Appreciate this story. My best lessons also correspond to funny stories from my dad. Yeah. Yep. Kevin says thank you to, or Jerry He's saying thank you to Kevin. So yeah. David Sure, who won the bet between you and Greaser? Okay, I think you mean Footage Factory. Footage Factory, Steve. And the bet was whether or not his 68 Mustang would make over 180 horsepower at the wheels. I don't know that I've seen any updates from Steve. Steve hasn't shown up on a live stream in a while. I know he did show up late, like 2 weeks ago. And the wager was if his car made over 180 horsepower at the wheels, that I would send him a Joe Daddy's hat. If he lost, then he was going to send me $25. Well, on that live stream, he sent me on the live stream chat $25. So I'm going to assume that his car did not get make 180 horsepower. And I've been kind of watching his videos to see. I know he made an interesting video recently of the driving around the 68 Mustang before it went into the shop or something. So kind of interesting. Yeah, George, I don't think he got it. He didn't get his hat because he never said anything. He never contacted me, so I don't know what's going on. Earl is a customer going with Sniperfy. If so, we will install. Whatever he gets, I will be installing. So there's no conclusion as to what he is going to pick out. So we'll just have to wait for that. Derek, good work. You're a legend. I'll be watching. Yeah, thank you. Whoops. Boondocker. That must be some radiator hose. Can't wait to see that. Well, he sent me pictures from some website with that hose installed on the same setup. So it looks like it's going to work. Now, I want to point this out. The next video is coming out on Brooklyn Pony. And I should also point out that I did two giveaways for comments and on the last two videos, and both of those have been sent out. So just in case anybody's watching that, those are gone. Those are sent out. I think I'll probably do that again on the next video. I haven't decided yet. However, I need to address another item along with the Vintage Air setup. And let me grab it. I want to show you this because I didn't think about this, but I'm going to have to make sure, and I should point out, this is a transmission cooler, and I don't know that it came. It's in a Summit box. So I don't know if I don't think this is part of the Vintage Air setup, but I will need to locate this. So probably packing peanuts everywhere. Probably gonna have to address a location for this. I don't think it's gonna be that big a deal. At least I hope it's not that big a deal. But one way or another, this will have to get in front of the condenser because there is no other place to put this. And I may have to get creative because it does have some brackets. I don't know if I'll work with those or not. There's a lot of ground to cover. But that's something else I need to address going forward so that, again, when things go together, it just goes together, right? I do know that the transmission, the radiator does have provisions for tranny cooler, but this was sent, so this likely will have to go in as well. The other thing that I'm going to, over there in that big box right there is the heater box or cooling whatever box that goes underneath the dash. That'll be the next video. I'm going to test fit that and try to make sure that it everything fits. Now, of course, I can't make all connections, and I will point out that in the kit, I forget which section, there are hoses. I think it must still be in that box. But there are hoses that are universal type hoses to where they're not finished. So you have to attach things, and I may do that. I may have to do that as part of the video process. You have to find a facility that can crimp on the fittings onto the end of the hoses, and I know of one shop that does that. So I'm going to have to. I may have to try to bolt stuff up loosely. I don't want to uncap the compressor, but I may have to generate those two lines and get those pressed together at that one shop that I know that does it. So that's something else you have to deal with when putting in a vintage air kit. Unless, I don't know if you can order specific lines that are a certain length, but I know from my experience that I had to have the ends crimped on because they just don't come that way. Let's see. Where are we at? David Cheryl, did you turn your compressor off? I did. I did, because I knew it was going to kick in. Where did you get that kit? The radiator kit? It's from Summit. It looks like it says Universal. There's two numbers on it. One says PA 99210. Oh, AC. Oh, the AC kit is vintage air. And there's a couple questions I need to verify. If you're asking about the vintage air kit, just a basic vintage air kit, the simple kit, or are you talking about the front runner system? A couple different animals there. The AC system, actually, if you go to my Amazon page, I've added those to my Amazon page. I believe I have. I'll have to double check, but I think I have them on my Amazon page. That they're available on Amazon regardless. For the early 64 to 66, I think. I'm not sure if they make them for the later models, but Amazon sells them. Summit, so that you can look in those locations. But check Amazon first. Load up your Amazon cart. Go to my channel. Click on the link up there in the banner, and place your order. I get a little percentage of that. Every little bit helps. LD. 3 years to find convertible rear seats. I finally found them for $100. Wasn't going to pay $750 from others. Well, that's a plus. The rear seat that's in this convertible isn't. It was all the seats are junk that were in the Brooklyn Pony. LD, any stories on finding rare parts? I guess it depends on what you consider rare. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I have anything specific that I could say for rare parts. Yeah, Boondocker, I know. I see. I want to say Allen heads, and I think the term is what, captive. I don't even what's the technical term for that. I just want to say Allen head bolts, but I've had other people say instead of Allen head, it's X. So what's the correct term? I don't even know what the term is. Let me see here. Yeah, well, it is. It's showing. What is it? What is the hex head? Because see, that's where you pull up hex head, and then it has hex socket cap screw. hex socket with the Allen head in it. So what is the term? What is the best term to use? Because I'd rather use it, whatever term fits. Then there's one, it's a metric, says metric socket head cap screw. One says socket flat head cap screw. I don't know. I want to use the right terms. And there, but see, here's one that says machine bolt hex head. It's got a Phillips head in it. So what's the best answer? Because here's showing a variety. Okay. All right, Derek, we'll see you later. Thank you, 777. Appreciate that. When doing my buddy's 57 GMC AC, we had to mark the hose ends for clocking 90 and 45 degrees so they would be pointing right directions. Very true. And I don't know if I covered all that. If you go back 2013 or something, I didn't do a very detailed video, but I did a video on putting in AC, a vintage air kit, in a 68 Mustang. And I remember that specifically. I indexed everything. I used marks so that I knew when the hose was put in and rolled around, I put indexes on it so that whenever they went to get crimped, they knew this is exactly how it has to fit. And they did that just perfect. Okay, so Boondocker. Socket head cap screw. I don't like that. That just doesn't sound right. Socket head cap screw. I hate that. That sounds horrible. You call them Allen heads too. Well, that's what I mean. I've always called them Allen head bolts. Now, Jerry's saying machine bolts, but I don't think that's the right answer. Hindsight 6-7. Who's a machinist? Roger. Socket head cap screw. So anyway, socket head cap screw. I will try to use that term, or just say Allen head. I don't know. Cuz 63 socket cap. Socket caps have a small cylindrical head with tall vertical sides. Allen hex socket drive is a 6-sided recess used with Allen wrench. Hex key. Yeah, that doesn't help at all. That doesn't help at all. Maybe what I need to do, I'll put up definitions. You know, I try to do that once in a while. I put up a word definitions because I know there's times where I've said, I don't know what, I start off with one word, like when I was building the transmission cross member, and I was talking about the ends, and I'm saying whatever, this end or this bracket, or, you know, I just kept, because it, you know, there's a variety of things you could call it, I guess. LD, the righty thing. Yeah, thingy. Hex head would be a regular bolt. That's true. That is true. So maybe inverse hex head socket cap screw Allen wrench. Maybe that's, yeah, righty tighty. I get it. LD. Yeah, hex head are your normal everyday bolts. Yep. Socket cap use Allen hex wrenches. Yes. Yeah, you know, and again, I'll say it. Maybe I try to use the right words, but it's hard to say the solid head cap screw is used in this instance due to the fact that the recessed area of the manufactured bracket is too small to blah blah blah. Hex socket head cap screw. Well, now you're adding more words to it, Jorge. All right, 777. Whoops. Gotta run. Good night, everyone. Yeah. Hit the like, please. Thank you. Roger, Allen head could refer to a button head, a flat head, or a socket head. Technically, yeah. Well, see, that's just it. I'm gonna use this bolt with an Allen wrench to put it together. How about that? Thanks, Paul. It is a nice hat. Well, good, Boondocker. Okay. Before I get too far ahead of myself, I know it's been 2 hours, and I usually want to cut us off at 2 hours, but we still have 64 people watching, so that's cool. We'll just keep running for a minute. Recently, I was working on, and this is something I think I'm gonna try to commit to for myself. You know, during the week, working on Brooklyn Pony or whatever, and trying to get stuff done, right? Well, if we can, my wife and I like to go to the lake on the weekends. You know, if we can. That may or may not work out for a while now because we'll just say we have an animal that needs daily attention that I really don't want to give, but we don't have much choice. But what I've decided, at least what I think I've decided, is when the weekend comes around, I'm going to work on what I want to work on. And so I'm going to try to push myself to work on the Jade Mustang on the weekends. So I'll do during the week, treat it like a regular type of job, work on the Brooklyn Pony, you know, stuff like that. And then try to get some stuff done on the Jade Mustang because I really want to be driving that car. I really do. So with that in mind, I want to show you something because I've recently decided, and I didn't film any of this. I'm trying to take care of, take care of some things. Yeah, just inverted torques. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'll have to, you know, that's a good question, Phil. And let's have a look real quick. Because back up here a second. Well, one of them says flat socket cap screw is one of the terms. And then the other one says stainless steel socket head cap bolts. Stainless steel socket head cap bolts is what it says. And that's talking about the Allen head type bolts that hold the tubing on to the compressor. So socket head cap bolts. What it says. Okay. Anyway, back to what I was saying here, and I'm glad Dave Britton is here. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Kevin Craw, how's your hammy? Hope it's healed. Oh, wait, I'm out of focus. Focus. Did that work? Nope. I'm confusing it. Well, not that I want to get too close to the camera. Anyway, my hamstring is doing pretty good, but my quadricep tendon is not doing as good. Why is it not focusing? Let me try this. Focus, 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 focus. Pull it. Got it. Okay. Yeah, my I have quadricep tendonitis is what I have right now. So, and I'm glad I mentioned before that I like to run. I try to run 2 to 3 times a week, but I haven't run in like 2 weeks because of my quad and my ham. So yesterday I said, I got to burn some energy. I got to do something. So I strapped on my backpack, probably had 10 or 12 pounds in it, something like that, not real heavy. And I just went for a hike. 4 miles. Well, 4.4 miles. So I was pretty happy with that. I may just have to put a load on my back and go for a walk just to take care of that. Jorge, can you make a video on editing videos? I guess I could, but I'm not sure how I do that. I know people can do stuff where they film this, what's going on the screen. I'd have to research that and try to figure that out. Roger, Vintage Air said to use the 12-point truss head stainless cap screws that were too small. Yeah. Got to have really technical terms. We had spent 10 minutes discussing the name of bolts. Gear nerds. Paul, I thought I was out of focus for the last three. I thought the out of focus was the last 3 beers I had. Well, could be. Could still be. Good evening. My second time in your room. I'm glad you're here, Bob. And Paul, I asked about Windex and paint prep. Yes, we talked about that. I've used Windex many times. Wipe something down, and then I blow it dry, make sure it's all dry. I've had some people question whether that was a good plan or not. I have not had any issues with it, but you can use other products to degrease. I have something from PPG. I can't remember the name of it. It is, well, it's right here. I do have something. JX101. That's a wax and grease remover, not a cleaner. Let's see. I asked that, but what is the point? What is the point of using Windex? Really, for me, it's just to get all the dust off. Get the most of the dust off. Make sure there's no, like the wax and grease remover. So like if you were prepping a car, like I try to wear gloves all the time. But if you happen to get something on your hand and you don't notice it, some sort of oil or silicone or something, and you touch it, it's going to come back and haunt you. So the idea is that I use it again for taking off dust, but also just to make sure you didn't leave some oil or something from your hand, or you could. We all know our faces make oil and stuff. You could be bent over and just accidentally rub your face on the quarter panel and not know it, and you think you're all good to go, and then you spray something and then it reacts. So I just wipe it, clean it, wipe it, clean it. But anyway, my point being that I'm going to try to do stuff to the Jade Mustang, the 68, on Saturdays, and I did on this past Saturday. I worked on it, and I didn't film it because I'm just doing some prep work for the paint. In this instance, the underside of the deck lid, because it still had the original color on it, and so I'm just cleaning that paint off, and I'm going to get some epoxy on it and get it prepped so it's ready to paint down the road. But the problem I've been having, and this is why I'm bringing this up, I've been using my Ingersoll Rand 4151 DA. Fantastic little DA. I love this thing. It's had the original hook pad on it, or hook it pad, whatever. And I've run into the problem where it really doesn't anymore. I've worn most of the nubs off from anything but like the dead center. So it'll stick to the dead center, but not good. Okay. So, I'm trying to do work on that deck lid, and I'm like, this is frustrating. So I thought, well, maybe Harbor Freight has something. So I drove up there. They don't have anything. I stopped at Lowe's. They don't have anything. I didn't feel like going to the paint store, and I thought, you know what? I have Amazon. What am I thinking? So I ordered 2 pads, and as you can hear, I'm opening right now. I have not opened this stuff yet. I ordered 2 pads from Amazon. Like, not even, was it Saturday? Late Saturday? I don't even know. It might have been yesterday. But they showed up like instantly. And I've ordered 2 of these from TCP. TCP Global is the company. And again, I have not opened these, but I ordered 2 because I think this pad, or this DA has provision for a vacuum. So if I wanted to, I could put a vacuum on it. Okay. But in order for that to work, you need certain pads. So I did order this pad with holes in it. Oh, let's see. That's going to be great. That's going to be great. Oh, I'm already excited. And this one's a little bit thinner too. So it'll get you into, harder areas. It's not going to give up as much. Oh, I'm already excited. I'm ready to go back there right now and start knocking the rest of that paint off. Because this has been nothing but frustration. No use for that anymore. Let's look at this one. A little bit thicker, a little bit of flex. That's good. Now I'm excited. I shouldn't get excited over tools, should I? But man, that's great. Anyway, David and Cheryl, where's Iron Man? Is he in bed? No. You don't see him? Have you looked? You gotta look. He's in the wide open right now. Very easy to see. You just have to look in the right spot. So you have I don't know, 2 minutes to find Iron Man. He's on screen. I can see him fine. So now you got to find him. Now that you're looking, you got to find Iron Man. Anyway, I don't know if people care or not, but maybe I'll add. I think I may have added these to my Amazon page. If not, I will add these to tools, so that people can can use them. So I'm pretty excited about that. Paul, I like it. He's a paper better than hook loop. Well, yes, I understand that, but the advantage to me of using the hook and loop is if I decided to, this can just sit around. I can reuse this if I don't, wear it out. I can reuse this several times. But if you take the sticky stuff, which is cheaper, I know, but if the sticky stuff, it starts getting dust in it or junk in it, you're not going to stick it back, and it's not going to stay. But it is effective. So I understand both sides. That I used to use the sticky stuff, but I really like the hook and loop. So I'm pretty excited now. I'm serious. Oh, pretty excited. Pretty excited. Yeah, I'll have to use a wrench to hold it in place. Jorge, Iron Man. Oh, I can't tell. You can't tell where. It is pretty fun. It makes you happy. I mean, seriously. It could be, just something that works. Pretty, nice little tool. Bob Shoemaker, some tools are like socks, wear out so slow we don't think about it till they fail us. Yes. I agree with you 100%. And I'm bad with socks too. You don't realize, you got holes in your socks, you don't even know it. And then one day you put on a fresh pair of socks, you're like, oh, these shoes feel pretty good with these socks instead of, bothering your feet. Boondocker, new Velcro on our Sanders. Yeah. Yeah. So just keep that in mind whenever you, that you can update your tools anytime and it'll make things better. Trust me. All right. What else? I'm thinking if there's anything else I wanted to cover. I did mention the new t-shirts are out on Teespring. Let me see if I can pull that up. Because if I can probably show you a picture. Let me just try real quick. I don't know if I've ever. Hold on a second. I just want to find one real quick because I think I can save it as a yeah. Here we go. Pretty sure I can do a snip. That snipping tool is pretty handy. Whoops. I've got ads popping up on my post. See if I can do this quick. Because then I can put it up on the screen. Oh, let's see here. Yeah, you're right. Iron Man is saying touchdown. Actually, he's throwing his hands in the air because some of the stuff that he's seeing is just driving him crazy. Khalid. Okay. Khalid Yones. That's a different name. Have a farmhand palm sander. I cannot find the sanding pad for it. Any help, please? The name brand is Farmhand. Does it have a threaded? Do you know what size of the shaft? Because like these are fine thread 5/16 by 24, 6-inch. So I'm not sure if well these are available on Amazon. The part numbers. I don't know which one I pulled out of which because one is for this has the sanding holes. It's TCP Global is a brand, and it's BP 5066. You probably can't see that. BP 5066. So you're saying a 6-inch with 6 bolts. This one has like 6 little rivets in it. So BP 5066 on Amazon. TCP. If you just search DA pad, it should come up with that. Let me see if I can download this picture quick because I think you'll like this t-shirt. Yeah. Let me go back to comments. Okay. So these are now available on Teespring. Check this out. But how about that? How about that? And I'm not going to. All I'm going to tell you is it's a patriotic image, and it's got what appears to be a car that looks similar to a Mustang, and has my script logo built into it. And there's probably one other surprise somewhere in there. There's probably something on this print that I'm just not going to mention it. I'm just not going to say anything. But anyway, I think you'll find it appropriate if you do. But anyway, so that's the t-shirts that are now available on Teespring, and I priced them as cheap as I could too, just so you know. Let me see. So anyway, if you're interested, they're on Teespring. You may have to go to my Teespring page or do search for J Daddy's Garage on Teespring. These are available in like 5 different colors. And again, they're sweatshirts and t-shirts. So yeah, I think it looks good too, Dave. I really do. And there may be another version of this that I'll put out, because the 2 designs are, one with the flag horizontal and the other is the flag vertical. But I really like this horizontal look, so probably stick with that. You're welcome, Khalid. Yeah. Well, see, I've been wanting to put something. Thank you, Jorge. I've been wanting to put something different up, but the problem is I don't know how to design stuff. I don't have that capability. Yeah, it's just not. So, but again, Andrew, Grease Rookie Garage, made that for me. So if you haven't already, go subscribe to his channel. Let's try to get him up over 1,000 subscribers. And also, he has a variety of designs available on his Teespring. So order something from him. Help him out too. But there's going to be more that hopefully can come out of that. Thank you, Landon. But again, it's Andrew from Grease Rookie is the one who made it up. We have some other ideas we're bouncing around, so hopefully we can collaborate and get something else out there. But again, if you're interested, go to Teespring and check it out. And like I said, there's t-shirts, hooded sweatshirts. I don't know if they're regular sweatshirts or not, but and then I put that logo on some other stuff. I think I put it on a mug, but I did the vertical or the vertical version on a coffee mug, but I may have to revisit that one because I think it needs to have the logo design on both sides of the mug, but I don't know if I can do that. I'll have to experiment. Like this mug right here. Well, it's got 10th Mountain front and rear. So the first mug that I created, it's only got it on one side. Well, should it be on both sides? Probably. Is it an option? I don't know. But I may have to look into that a little bit harder and see if that is an option. So I don't know if there's. Because it's weird the way Teespring is set up. Certain things just you want them to show up, but they don't show up where you think they will. I don't know if I did add, and a mask. I also did a mask with that logo on it, which I think looks pretty cool. And again, I may have to, I really like that mask. That looks good. But I may have to redo the mug. The mug looks pretty cool. Let me see if I can do it. Get an image of that. But again, I think it's got to be. Whoops. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Hold on. Still here. Trying to do several things at once. All right. Let me see if I can pull this up. So again, here's the mug. See, with the vertical flag. And that's correct. That's how it's supposed to look, because the stars and stripes always go to the upper left, or stars go to the upper left as you're looking at it. Yeah, that Boondocker, I'm working on that. I am working on that. So I'm gonna come up. Andrew and I are gonna come up with something that has I'm happy with that on it. So it's coming. Paul mug, how about whiskey glasses? I don't think they offer that on Teespring. I don't think so. Let me just look real quick. I don't think they do, but yeah, I think all I see is coffee mugs. Phone cases, they do phone cases. Yeah, they don't do shot glasses. So anyway, we're getting close to quitting time. We're getting close to quitting time. We're going to stop this at 2 hours and 30 minutes. So Kevin is checking out. Glad you're here. David and Cheryl going to have to listen to the hockey game. Big thumbs up and take care. All right. Well, enjoy your hockey game that's going to play in your head while you're listening. I've said it before. I've said this before, and I mean it wholeheartedly. When I was a kid, I used to love watching baseball games on the radio with my grandmother. I really did. I used to love watching baseball games on the radio with my grandmother. That was a summer. I can remember being in her house in the summer with the windows open, a wind blowing through, and listening to baseball games on the radio. That was always fun. I'll let you use my perfectly. It's close enough without giving me any credit. Well, thank you, Boondocker. Dave, less drinking, more sanding, Paul. Yeah, you gotta sand down that Suburban again, right? All right, glad you're here, Robert. Goodmunder, checking in as well. Good show as always. Thank you, Goodmunder. Thank you for being here. Yeah, we've got about a minute left. So, as I said, the next video will be installing or test fitting what's in that box over there. Also, probably trying to do something with that transmission cooler to make sure that it's going to fit. I don't know yet. I have not tried it, but got to make it fit. Also, I have a radiator hose coming that should hopefully remedy the conflict I'm having with the water pump and the Griffin radiator. So that's coming as well. But anyway, I will do this again on Thursday at 3 o'clock. If you would, again, throw a thumbs up, likes, whatever. Tell people about this. Let them come out. You know, I'd be happy to have more people on here. I did have 2 guests tonight. So Jerry was a repeat. Ron was a new guy. And then I've already got another person who wanted to be on tonight, but he'll be on probably next week by the looks of it. So we'll work that out. And that was, well, it's Kevin, I believe. Kevin Craw is who I believe that was. Yeah. So I'll have him on next week. Paul, good night, Barry. I thought I'd sand more filler off the Suburban. Yeah, thank you, Dave. All right. So we're going to call it a night. Again, I'll be back here on Thursday. Look forward to the next video. It'll be coming out sometime soon. And we'll just drive on. Keep trying to make things happen. So I'm going to call it a night. And until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya.